Hello and welcome back. Hello. 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 You want posh? Hello.
Oh, stop it, do that.
Hello.
See right up your nose.
Hello.
Got rid of your nose hair.
I'm going to say it's like a Lillet. Hello and welcome to probably the final part of our planning for our summer holiday. As you recall by now, so part one was all about getting ready for thinking about what sort of things we need to look at and consider when going abroad, and part two was
A bit more specific detail about where we were going and booking online and the ups and downs of booking online.
yes, and that was
Interesting.
interesting to say the least. But anyway, it's all done now. We are now in a position where everything is now booked. This one is going to be looking at all the other practical elements, really behind the scenes type of stuff like we've been doing on these planning stages. But yeah, we're going to do that. We're waffling now. Join in when you're ready, so I'll start again, shall I?
I thought that was funny.
So anyway, you've moved now, so you're now comfy, are you? And chucked our dog off.
Yes.
Okay, fair enough.
This is part three of our selection of films planning our summer holiday in Europe, now that we are post-Brexit. However...
We have got an e-hit card.
Yeah, that's
I have
true.
to go through that.
Yeah, that's true.
There is a Brexit thing we do have to think about, because nothing is going to happen to any e-hicks and all that stuff this year.
No.
However, things will change next year. For example, your pet passports, if we were taking them with us, that's all going to change. To what? We're not quite sure yet, but it is going to change. But she's not coming, so we don't need to worry about that.
No. I mean, that's a consideration after December the 31st, 2020. And then we will do some films from our actual holiday so that you can see what the reality of all this planning has actually brought about. Not every single day you'll be glad to know, just really a snapshot of how it all went.
So we'll start. The first thing that we had to look at is something called a vignette. So some countries, like Austria, when we went to Italy, went through there, you pay the tolls and all, but you also, on top of that, you have something called a vignette, which is kind of another tax, I suppose, as a way to look at it. Now, in terms of going to Germany and back to France, we don't need one, so we're not bothered at that stage. You carry on.
Okay, we have a tag for French motorways.
Yes, I did mention that in the last one.
Yeah. So you have to consider whether or not that tag still works and whether you need a new one. They are quite cheap. Really, really useful, saves you time, especially with a caravan. We do use the motorways and pay the tolls because the motorways are largely empty, so it's a lot quicker and it takes away the stress. You don't have to worry about going down tiny little roads, so it's really worth doing that. Get your tag for your French tolls.
We've already booked our tickets for Phantasialand online. There is a reason for doing that, and it was actually proven on this website as well, that in the month of January anyway, there was a discounted rate for buying the tickets there and then, so I did. So they've done it. What they will be going up to, I doesn't know. I didn't have a look on those, but yeah, they're done.
Yeah, but also it does mean you've got to commit to how many of you are actually going to go. Now in our case, one of our daughters has got the opportunity to go off and do something else over the summer, which is aligned to what she wants to do in her career. So we may well have actually booked a ticket that we are now not going to use, and I'm afraid that's just a risk with older children that you might have to take.
You might see that on eBay.
Yeah.
Now, passports. Again, we checked our passports and we found that 2 of them needed renewing, and they're not cheap because our children, or the ones that mattered, are now adult ones. That means 10 years. So that was what, £80 to go?
£75.50 each.
Not cheap.
And that's where, it's a bit more if you go to a post office and do it all themselves, and that might be a damn sight easier.
The second thing was all of us, because of Brexit and because our e-hit cards ran out in the summer before we went, we're going to have to renew those. But luckily they were free and we got them within a week anyway. But it'll last another 5 years if they happen to carry on.
Yeah. Money.
Money. Now, in the European Union, you can wander up to any cash machine and take cash out of a machine if you use your normal bank card. The trouble with doing it that way is they will then charge you what is called an FX rate, a rate where they change the money from euros, in that case, into pounds. So we bank with Nationwide. Nationwide do a Flex Plus account, which is one of the ones you pay for. And one of the benefits of that is that that card can be used in a cash machine to take money out, but will not charge you any FX rate charges. So we actually use that card for taking cash out, so we don't have to take large amounts of money with us, just take it out of the machine and away go.
And we've used that a lot. And the Flex Plus, yeah, you do have to pay monthly for it, but it has other benefits too, doesn't it, Steve?
Come on to that in a minute, yeah. So continuing on the money side of things, you have a Nationwide Select credit card. Now we use that credit card because they also don't charge you any FX rate charges for things that you buy. So if you're buying stuff on the credit card, there would normally be a charge, but with that particular card they don't. So we don't use that, and it's not one of these like balance transfer cards or 0% on purchases. It's one of the ones that you have to pay off at the end of every single month. So between the Flex Plus and that credit card, we're covered. So there's no extra hidden fees for FX rate charges.
And we do, that's a credit card we do pay off. When we spend money on it, we pay it off at the end of the month, don't we?
Indeed, yes.
Yeah.
Now, Flex Plus, this account we pay for, it's got other fringe benefits apart from those cards, which is travel insurance for the entire family. So if you weighed out how much that would cost per annum for all that, that's over 100 quid.
It is, which is nothing like what a family travel insurance would be. It's worth paying the money. So for us, the monthly amount more than covers the benefits we get from having that account.
Now the other big thing about that is that you also get roadside assistance free, built into the cost of, it's not free, it's part of it, but it's built in. But the roadside assistance also covers caravans and up to 8 metres, which means, because we've had to use the insurance element of it before, haven't we?
Yeah.
When abroad, but luckily we didn't have the caravan on the back when the car engine went faulty.
We were in France on a French dual carriageway, I think, and suddenly something went bang and our radiator broke in our Pathfinder.
Yeah, it was.
And we've got a smattering of French. It was a very scary experience, but literally within about half an hour, local garage came and picked us up, took us back to the garage, told us what was wrong, and we got a hire car which was delivered to us at the garage. Was it delivered to us? Yeah, I think it was. And then we had a hire car, a little Ford Focus, for a few days as it was being sorted out. And then they paid for us
taxis as well.
Yeah, they paid for us taxis to drop the hire car off, taxi back to the campsite, taxi to the garage to pick up our car so that we could go back to the campsite with our towing car. And I think I worked out that the cost of that minimum would have been about €600 if we were paying for it, but our insurance more than covered it. And it's only when you have a problem like that that you realise how valuable that kind of insurance is. So top tip, Nationwide for that kind of thing.
It's worth it. It also it covers other things as well, like mobile phone insurance as well, that's included in the package. But when all said and done, if you add all those elements up, it costs more than the £13 a month it costs us to have that card or that extra account in the first place.
Yeah, so it's £13 a month for that account, and we do a top up to add the children to the insurance, which was about £30. So you can add that up, and then if you try to do all of those costs separately, you can see how much of a saving it would be. And if you also build in, as we've done, the actual cost of having an incident, if we hadn't had the insurance, how much we'd have paid out to deal with that with our broken down car, you know, we would have been well out of pocket.
So, in terms of the car, it's been serviced just recently, so that will cover us for that section when we get to that as well, because it should really be up to date. It's a fairly new car, so there's nothing wrong there anyway.
There's various bits and pieces you need if you're overseas that you don't need here, so you need to be aware of that.
There's headlight adjusters, because obviously you're driving on the wrong side of the road, so you need to stick something on your lights so they don't actually blind people. So they sell those on the ferries if you forget them anyway, but they're only 5, 6, 7 quid, something like that for a pack of those. I've also got my Jump Start little battery charger, which I should be taking with me because it powers up like boats and things and our blow-up warning. But also it covers...
No, we're not taking the damn boat this time, just so that you
Are we
know.
not?
No, because we remember in summer this year we took the boat for a walk. Never actually made it into any water. We just carried it around with us,
Yeah,
so we
that's
will
true.
not be
That's true.
taking the boat. Just so you know, I'm just getting that in early.
I'll be taking the bike. I don't know,
No,
we
we're not
have a
taking
bike
it.
thing on. Anyway,
Yeah.
that aside. Now, we're talking cars still. So, Jump Start for the car in case we accidentally leave it. Do you remember we left it connected to the car and the caravan connected together? Now, the caravan has something called ATC on it, which basically switches the brakes on or off on the side that, you know, when it's moving, stop the anti-snaking stuff. Don't really get on all that well with ferries. Obviously they're going up and down and side to side, so it's constantly trying to maneuver things and flattening your battery. So we had that once as well, where we
Went to drive off the ferry.
the car wouldn't go anywhere.
It was really embarrassing.
Yeah,
We had to run
big
around.
line of people behind us. Won't be doing that again. No. Now also with the car, you need to consider other things. We had to buy yellow vests, for example, for all of us. Many moons ago, when we first started going abroad.
But we had to wear them when the car broke down, didn't we?
Yeah.
We put them on. We actually did put them on.
Yeah, it's a legal requirement that you do that, and also you have to have red triangles, maybe 2, depending on the country you go into. My advice is have a look on the AA or the RSA or the Caravan Club site, and have a look at what is required with regard to the actual country that you're visiting.
Toolkit.
Toolkit, yes.
What do you mean by toolkit though? That great big black bag for, you know, all and sundry, that heavy thing for the caravan, or something else?
I take a toolkit with me because it's probably, because I don't worry about the space so much, I do take more than probably I should in terms of the toolkit. I cover most things on it, so it's got all sorts of stuff in there. Like we had the cable that links the car and the caravan together. Remember in the first caravan, it was so long it was actually touching the ground, and we went somewhere and it more or less burnt through the whole lot, so tape and all sorts to be able to join it all back together on the side of the road. Otherwise you'd have no lights.
Steve's also going to talk to you in a little bit more detail about polarity. So, you know, here's his little film about it.
So in going to Europe, I just have this one little bag, and in it is these 3 little cables, and this is to correct the reversed polarity that I get from bollards in foreign countries. Now, this will make you laugh actually. These little adapters that you plug into your caravan are probably, hang on, will have a CE mark on them somewhere. Hang on, let's just have a look. Just there. So all European sites should be using the same connectors as we do for our bollards, but they don't. I've had to use this one, which is when you go to France and Italy, they'll have connectors like these, and you plug these in and then you connect your normal cable up in the normal fashion. Now the trouble with bollards in foreign countries is we have something called reversed polarity. So what that means is that the wiring inside the socket is the live and the neutral are swapped around the other way. So instead of being that way around, they are that way around. So what we need to do is we need to convert one of these ends to actually swap the cables around for us. So what I've done is I've taken one of these apart, and as you can see there, you have the little lock symbol, and you just break these 2 connectors, which allows you to slide this back and expose the inside of the socket. and therefore you can then see the brown and the blue cables and just swap them around, screw it all back up, connect it back up, go and find some wife's or girlfriend's this is nail varnish, and just put an R on it. So that is for reverse polarity. That will actually connect the two around. So I just connect my normal mains cable to there, and that gets plugged into the bollard. And the same on these ones. So a little French connector with a normal mains plug on the end, and then I have another one which has got the R on it. So all I did was take that apart and swap them over. Okay, so what we're looking at here is our normal fuse box, and you'll see that this red light here, because these are just your charger and your heating lights, but this one is a reverse polarity. So we're a normal connection to the caravan. I've connected it to my garage, so it's providing no reverse polarity here. So what we have here is the exact same setup, but this time I put the reversed polarity cable in between the caravan and where I would normally plug it in. So let's go and see what we get now. So as you can see, the reverse polarity light is on. So that tells me that all the plugs in this caravan have got the live and the neutral round the wrong way. Now another thing to consider is the bollard itself. Now we're used to 1 or 2 outlets for us to use. We put in our cable and then we give it a twist to be able to lock in position. You never know, you might even find a TV point below. However, that's not quite the case when you get to go abroad. This one, for example, you can see has got 6 outlets on it. There's another space there for another 2, and there's no twisting involved. You just pop your cable in and away you go on this particular one. Now I've seen in excess of 20 or 30 in one area, and also you might find these connectors on the end. So somebody puts one of these in and then you got 3 outlets. And then if you zoom out and have a look, you'll see that it's badly maintained. There's tape and all sorts of things that really make it put it in at your peril. But that's the way the European market works, and you just accept it. We even saw one of them had a cable that went across the road that you're driving across. Now it is private road, but yeah, it was powering a tent on the other side. Fabulous.
Okay, so let's just run through very quickly through stuff for the caravan. You need to consider polarity. Take 2 cable reels, or even take 1, because when we went to Bristol recently, Steve forgot to take the cable reel totally, didn't you?
Yeah, but luckily they
yes.
lent us.
Did you actually give that back?
I did.
That's right then.
Of course. I'm a nice person.
Yes, and a cable joiner. What's a cable joiner?
So it's I'm going to say it's like a lillet. It's a gizmo that you can join 2 cables together, but it's actually waterproof as well.
Yeah.
So Fiona, here we go. Here's that lillet thing that I was talking about. Probably more so a bullet. I probably shouldn't call it that to be more politically correct, I suppose. But anyway, so cable going in one end and cable coming out the other end. So imagine this is 2 cables you join it together. I'm just using my polarity cable to do that. There's a little flap on it to keep it nice and dry, and in there is just the little connector that I've joined together as well. Actually this comes, I'll just take that out. This actually comes with a little padlock as well, so that you can make it nice and secure, which goes on there, and there's your little padlock to join the 2 together. Well, hello there, let's talk water. So when you go to European sites, I take my bag of service pitch attachments and so on, but inside there I also have to take this little box here, which has got loads of hose attachments, things like turning things on and off, little adapters for that, and joining adapters for joining these 2 together, or extra long hose pipes, and all sorts of connectors, right, for plugging onto taps that don't have a screw-in bottom, or ones that have a screw-in bottom, with different adapters on those as well. I'll just take this apart, there we go, so you can see that there's a big adapter, small adapters.
And also in here as well is, and this one I've used once as well. So in the middle you can see you tighten down this, but it's got a little adapter that pushes down one of these. Imagine that's a tap and it's got one of these tops that you have to push down to get water out. That's what that does. And then there's little washers that go inside there, and then you plug in your normal hose on the bottom of this. So as you can see, you're presented with a whole host of issues when you connect up your water adapter. Now, one that I did find on one of our French sites, I bought this thing years and years ago for showers. Do you remember all these showers that you have? You have to press a plunger on the wall to get water out, and it stops every 10 seconds, and then you have to plug it in again. So this has got a couple of suckers on the end, so you just stick that to the wall and then screw this up to wherever you want it. I'll just open that up. There you go, so you can see where it's maybe that's the bit you need to set it up to and then to tighten it up. And also what it does is there's a bigger one in case the gap between, you know, some of these have big washers around the outside of these taps, so you need both to be able to do that. There was a site that you had to fill up your ankle roller course, but you had to, it's one of these buttons you had to keep pressing and keep your finger on it and hold it to get the water to come out, and it was so slow. So yeah, the best thing to do was fit that to it, screw that on it, and just leave it and stand up and admire the scenery whilst your water butter's filling. So these are useful as well. You can still buy these on eBay or Amazon, or I shouldn't actually say their names. So you can buy these on well-known auction sites as well. Well, that's it for this one. We hope you found it useful, and please don't forget to subscribe and hit the little bell. Thank you.